Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea what was going on, and I wanted to go home and get my doll that Santa had brought. And I went in the back door and the door into the bedroom, the living area, and I heard Mama say, Marv and Eileen were on the couch with the baby, and
And Bill was the baby?
Bill was the baby. And all of a sudden, they were all doing stuff, and Mama from the bed was saying, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" And they would, I don't know what they were rubbing his face with, for trying to make him breathe again. And he did. And it was after that they took off to the hospital.
So they were going
I
down
never knew all that.
in Houston, and they almost ran into a train.
Yeah.
But by the time I came, he was hell on wheels.
Yes.
I would sit out on the front porch of that house, and Bill had a horse.
That's what owned you too.
Yeah, Bill had a horse. I wanted to have a horse too, but I couldn't have a horse. Bill had a horse, and he had ridden the horse down to some neighbor's house, down past Eileen's house. You don't even know where Eileen's house is. Anyway,
Red roof.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I would sit there on the porch, and Bill would be galloping across that field down there where below Penny's house and between that and your house, going just as fast as he could. And we had watched Wild Bill Hickok on television.
Uh-oh.
And Bill would, had his saddle and his pommel, and he'd jump off this side, hit the ground, come back up, go over the saddle, hit the ground this side, and come back up on the saddle. And Mama never said a word to him about anything he did. I think she was just so happy that he had grown into the boy that he grew into, that she had no interest in reprimanding him for acting like an idiot. And he would take that horse back to the stable in the barn, and he would be on the saddle, and he would take the horse underneath the part of the barn, the hay's up here, and then you go in there. And he would grab hold of the upper part of the barn and slide off the horse when she came in.
He'd grab hold of the rafter.
Yes,
And let the
yes,
horse keep going.
yes. Yes.
Yes.
The only time I ever knew that there had been anything wrong with Bill is that Bill wanted to play baseball with the league at Oak Grove Church. And we all very solemnly got in the car and drove up to the doctor in Charlotte so the doctor could check Bill and make sure Bill was okay to do that. And the doctor said, "Oh, sure, let him play ball." So he went off and played ball, and Mama was, happy. And now why it would be so hard for her to let him play baseball, but she could watch him ride down the field over there and jump off Wild Bill Hickok style on either side of his horse, I don't know.
Well, if I remember, in getting him prepared to play ball, they could hear a heart murmur.
You think so? That could
And
be.
that's why he had to be checked out so well, to be able to play.
You're probably right. And of course, I was 5 years younger than him, so I never knew anything. They never Yeah.
Listen, I was 10 years old and they didn't tell me
anything either. No.
I didn't even know you were on the way, much less. Can you imagine?
Where'd she
that?
come from?
I know.
Sort of like that. And that's been the way I've been treated the entire time. No.
I know. Yeah, we were walking to the school bus and Doris said, Mama's going to the hospital today to get a baby.
Yes. They had picked out the very best one available and left her there for Mama.
Well, I came home from school, walked through the mush and mud, and Gran came and said, "You got a baby sister?"
And you said, "What? I didn't even want one."
No, that was just you know, the way I guess, I mean, I know all kids knew more than I did.
I bet they didn't.
They
Well, they
probably
might.
they just didn't make a big scene out of everything.
No, it wasn't discussed all over the
It's just
place.
business as usual.
And if it was
you know,
discussed,
life
it
as
was not in
usual.
front of the children.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bill was going to teach me how to ride his bicycle. It didn't seem to matter to Bill or to me that my feet would not reach the pedals. So he was going to teach me how to ride the bicycle. So he got me up there on the top of the hill, you know, where the house was, and the hill went down that way. And he said, "This is what you do." And then he gave me this huge push down the road, and I could not pedal. I went over into the side of the road, and I told Mama, and Mama sort of said, "You know, you didn't get on the bicycle, right?" Yeah, but it was his fault. No, she didn't really blame him for a lot of things that he did, because she knew there was probably something on the other side that started it. Yeah.
The first time I met Wild Bill was, I think maybe in 1966, 67, somewhere early 67.
He was 5 years older than me, so I don't know.
I got my draft, or got my notice to come up and be examined for the Army. And guess who sat across over there? Skinniest legs I ever saw in my life. Bill said, "They're not gonna take me." And I thought, how in the world do you know that they're not gonna take you? I was scared to death. I mean, but I couldn't understand why Bill said they were not gonna take him. But then Ruth told me why, you know, because I had to stay and work on the farm or help.
Oh, good grief.
Whatever
I
it
didn't
was.
tell you that, because that was
Anyway.
untrue.
Okay, what was it you told me? Something?
Daddy was not well.
Okay,
Mama was dead. I was 13 years old.
okay.
Well, he was inducted into the Army.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that could not have been the first time.
No, it was the second time he was examined.
Yeah.
And,
But I didn't understand how he was so confident they were not gonna take him. He said, "Not gonna take me."
It would have
Well-
done him a lot of good, I think, to have actually done his 2 years.
and Daddy said that too.
And Daddy
later
said
on.
that too, yeah. Daddy was not himself whenever that
No.
was going on.
He was not.
I asked Mom about that one time, and she seemed to think he came home because of all that, when all that happened. He was in the Army.
And yes,
He
that is
was.
true. What
Yes.
she said is true.
That's right.
And that was,
But
see, Daddy,
Grandpa needed help because
he was,
Grandma had just passed away and
and Daddy was,
couldn't handle it,
you know, he could not handle it, and I was 13 years old.
Yeah,
And that is exactly why, what she told you was true.
yeah.
Was that, I think that's when he had gallbladder surgery, and, you know, then it was a big
Grandpa.
surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember he had the scars, yeah.
And he was to the point that it was on the verge of rupturing. And he was very sick, and it took him a long time to get over that.
It absolutely did, and we were not even sure, if I can even remember clearly what was going on then, because Doris did all the things that needed to be done. She was afraid that he was not going to get past that,
Yeah.
because Mama was the kind of person who could have run the world if she chose to, very quietly and very, you know, without any fuss. She just knew what to do, and he depended on her so much that when she was not there any longer, it was hard for him. And
It felt
he
like he
spent a
had
lot
to
of time
start.
saying mentally, "Now, what do you do with a girl? What is it that you do with a girl?"
Yeah,
You know, he was not. That was not his best point. Yeah.
yeah, he was probably used to going out in the field and doing his thing, and that's it, probably.
Well, he worked at Lance. He really didn't do. I don't remember him doing any kind of farming or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
He worked at Lance for like what, 12, 13 years, I think.
Well, I remember I was so small that I was not in school, and I stood up on the hump in the back seat and looked over the top of the seat.
Mhm.
And I remember him because he looked so spiffy. But he had his long winter coat and his suit, double-breasted, of course. And he was going to Lance to wherever, it was downtown Charlotte, but it was I guess the headquarters of Lance. He was going to pick up a check or more than one check that he had for something. But that I remember. So it was when I was very small. I don't remember him not working at Lance.
Hmm.
Well, he